Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Billy Madison, and this is my Ken Robinson video response. I'd like to start off by shortly summarizing the thesis of Ken Robinson at the beginning of his YouTube video. First off, he states that everyone has a vested interest in education. Whether you're a stock market broker on New York City's Wall Street, or whether you're a student here in New Jersey's West Windsor Public Schools, everyone has an interest in giving value to the diploma that they'll earn at the end of their education. Two of those values could be, number one, to earn a personal stipend or to further someone else's journey, whether it be through social work or other things of that nature. Second off, the unpredictability of the future gives a little reason to be a little shy about that diploma. We don't know how much is going to change within the next 5 years. That's all we know is that if we stay in school, we're going to learn as much as we possibly can about the technology and the changes in our environment and how our society works. Lastly, children have tremendous talents that are squandered in our public schools. Schools were originally founded on the idea that we should discipline our children and make them work in the coal mines as opposed to sit there and actually learn something, have them sit there in desks and rows and learn to be disciplined and organized, work from 8 until 3, and then let them out, and hopefully they'll learn to play on their own. We found as educators that that's the wrong way to teach our children and that they need to be able to imagine and be creative in their studies, as well as stay organized and stay focused. The first big quote that I found that Ken Robinson said was that if kids don't know, they'll have a go, and adults are afraid of being wrong because mistakes are the worst thing you can make. In our society and our way of living, you can't afford to make a mistake because, one, you'll lose time, and time is a precious thing to waste. Isn't it funny how our SATs kind of judge the way our future is going to be and the schools we get into in the future, and how everything docks its way off of maybe one small essay, and if you do poorly and you can never get started off of that 3-hour essay that you have to write, well, isn't it a shame that you can't get into the Browns and the Yales of today, but you're stuck going to the community college? Mr. Haltmeyer, you posted some interesting questions online that I'd like to comment on. Do you feel that Brophy has found a way to appropriately use assessment in order to spark creativity? And I feel that Brophy and Robinson are on two different levels when they're talking, and probably on two different continents as well. I feel like Brophy kind of gives us the good recipe on how to test and evaluate what our students are doing in the classroom, whereas Robinson talks about what we're actually doing in the classroom and how to carry out our philosophies and develop it into a creative work, as opposed to Brophy, who just designs the tests and merely gives a standard of which to follow according to our creative guides like the MENC tests. Or rather, the MENC standards, not the MENC tests. Second, what are the issues in music education these days that are connected to Robinson's views? And how might assessment impact the issues Robinson presents? First of all, we as music educators need to kind of raise our standards when it comes to administrators looking down upon music education. I feel in our society that music education is kind of fading away due to governmental issues and budgetary problems, but we're starting to overcome these issues and be able to push music education in a way that no generation has ever done before. Overall, students who go in to take the SATs, or any test for that matter, and who also participate in the arts, whether it be in school, out of school, or extracurricular, do better on testing and SATs overall. I think that's a huge point to bring up to administrators, especially when they're just about to cut your budget items. And it can always be brought up that we help you if you help us. Next, how would Brophy battle Robinson, and how would Robinson battle Brophy in the educational war? Now, first of all, keeping organization in a classroom is desperately needed, and I think that's what Brophy tries to shoot for in his books. However, I am completely opposed to keeping a check-minus system and keeping everything based on grades. I feel that if you're a good enough musician as well as an educator, you need to look at the facts, and the facts are that yeah, solos do work sometimes in classroom work, and if you point on a kid and if they know the answer, then they're going to give you the correct answer, and I feel that they deserve the A. Yet those kids who keep trying are also going to deserve A's in the end if they master the material. But it's all about how you evaluate. You can't stick a kid in a corner, give them a piece of paper, and force them to put things down on a test that may not work. You may need to set them up in quartets and have them sing, or rather make up a rhythm and test on improvisation and memory, or being able to copy the teacher. I think the teacher needs to step up and look at evaluation in different ways instead of just pointing towards the books and saying that the check-minus system is the way it works for every child. Now, granted, it does keep organization in the classroom, and I think that there does need to be some kind of strictness and discipline on the side of Brophy. However, Robinson points to the philosophical point of view that even looking at a student like Gillian Lynn, the choreographer who could have been or should have been diagnosed with ADHD, she was just merely a dancer, and then she goes on to choreograph dances for shows like Phantom of the Opera. Success stories come all over the place, especially for us in the music world, and I think the point that Robinson hit the best was that we need to see children for the hope and the future that they are, and not for the failures and the criticisms that we see them as music educators. Thank you very much for your time.